we're going to talk about ecological footprints and sustainability. Some of you might recognize this beautiful picture. Well, mostly beautiful. This is from the Palisades fire almost a year ago that took out many houses in the Palisades, and very similar to the same time when that fire struck Altadena. But we face a lot of issues here in California. Every place faces environmental issues. We are no different. I would say the main thing is we in California tend to take action to help improve our environment. For one thing, air quality. The whole country has California to thank for pushing forward on clean air regulations that make cars so much cleaner. But we want to make this place livable for us, future generations. The air quality has gotten a lot better since the 50s and 60s, but it's still not good enough. Too many people still die unnecessarily from air pollution, and we want to make it better. We can make it better for ourselves now and for future generations, and that's really what we want to try to look for. So this is the definition of sustainability. Basically, as humans on Earth, we have to be very careful with our resources. We don't survive without our resources: air, water, land, and we need to be careful we don't deplete them. So there we go. So we don't want to deplete our resources for now or future generations. And factors that can help us keep everything sustainable is keeping biological diversity. So every single plant and animal, bacteria, bug has a role to play. And when you take those out, you have problems. Like one thing, very interesting, salmon fertilize forests. That's something I discovered about 15 years ago. Salmon used to swim up into the mountains, up in the Cascades, where I'm from in Washington State, and the dams along the Columbia blocked the salmon. And the forests got a lot less healthy because the salmon were not getting up into the rivers, up into the mountains. And what they would do is swim back to where they were born, where they hatched, and then die, and would provide a food source for animals, insects, and nutrients for the stream. So the whole forest ecosystem took a hit when the salmon left. So that's something you wouldn't think about. But we're all tied together, all life on Earth. Food production is a huge part of this. That is something that I've been talking about all the time, how we eat. Probably the single biggest impact we can have on the environment is changing the way we eat. Not wasting as much, eating more plant-based products that are not they're not processed too much. Average global surface temperature. That's land and ocean temperature. And of course, CO2 concentrations. That's where all this extra heat is coming from. We're just having more heat brought back to Earth. That's, the enhanced greenhouse effect. The enhanced greenhouse effect. Now, greenhouse effect by itself is good, has always helped us, but we're making it stronger. So we're enhancing it, and that's an issue. So human population, we just, last time I taught this class, we were 7.4 billion. Now we're above 8 billion. It's blowing my mind. I can't believe that. So we need to be smart about how we use resources on Earth, because we're going to be coming to some difficult moments trying to provide food for everybody and space. So why it matters so much in Southern California is because we don't have a whole lot of natural water sources here in California. We get our water from Northern California, from Colorado, from the Mountain West, and we get it from the ground. So make a note of that. We have our state water project, SWP, that brings in water from the Sierras. If you drive to San Francisco, you will drive right along this. It's like a huge river, probably 20, 30 feet wide. It has water flowing through it. The Colorado River Aqueduct, write that one down. That's coming this way. I believe this would be, see, this Nevada, Arizona coming out of there. So we get water from the Colorado River. Not as much now. A little bit of local surface water, not much, and recycled water. This could increase a lot. So I'm going to say could increase substantially if we agree that we're okay with drinking recycled water that is just as clean as regular water. We're going to do the sewer science activity. You guys are going to see that we can make just basically speeding up nature's process of cleaning water. We can make water clean enough to drink, the waste, right? Wastewater. Right now we dump it right onto the ocean. Huge waste. If we can just use that wastewater, it would make a big difference. And then of course groundwater. We've been talking about that. We pump it out of the ground around Long Beach. We get about 50% of our water from the ground, but we know we're overusing it, right? Especially after droughts. So just to touch on the main pillars of sustainability, you got the environment, which we're focused on, but we also got to get the social and economic aspects as well. So environment is things that you think about, maintain ecosystems, keep them healthy. So keeping those, keeping biodiversity strong, making sure our plant animal species are healthy, taking care of our soil, taking care of our water and our air. Our atmosphere is kind of like the last dump. We've gotten, typically we were better at, thinking about what we're dumping on land, in the river. What we put up into the air, what we burn is something that we haven't, humans dealt with as much until more recently. So, economic, we want long-term resource stability, having materials to produce the basic things we need in our economy. And right now there's a lot of talk about that with, I mentioned earlier, those metals, long-term resource availability. Do we start to do a lot more smelting and mining here and then pollute our land and air? Because right now we're polluting other places. Are we going to start doing that here? Make sure production systems are stable. Stable production, system, a factory. Right now, a lot of our systems are international, and that is efficient for many things. So how that plays out, and then social, human health. Are we, poisoning ourselves as we're getting the materials we need or think we need to survive? Just think about how often do you replace your phone? Probably I'm guessing every 3 years, maybe 2-3 years, 4 years, 5 years, maybe. I'm not sure what the average is. Find that out. So human health, equity is a big part. When you don't have equity, you just don't have strong economics, and that doesn't lead to a good environmental outcome. Cultures and societies that have more equity are just more successful in general. Access to resources like education, jobs, housing. Education, jobs. That look like jobs. Jobs, housing, food. We know there's areas that the people don't have access as much to high quality food. All right, a little bit about a sustainable yield. It's the amount of a renewable resource that can be taken out without reducing the available supply. So the amount, where's my pointer? There it is. The amount without reducing. So this is what humans have always done. We've taken resources, but now we can just take a little bit more. But these are our renewables. This right here is geothermal. Using the heat from the earth. This is pretty awesome. Yeah, where we could do this in California. It's but right now it's just expensive to do. And we have wind, which is really solar, right? The sun drives the wind. But we have wind and solar. And this over here, this is hydropower. Where I'm from in the Northwest, it is known for dams generating most of the electricity, which is pretty cool because it is sustainable. It's renewable. There's no CO2. However, there is that big impact, like I just mentioned, on the salmon. You put the dams there, the salmon can't get upriver. That can break down and harm ecosystems. So things we have to keep in mind, like we mentioned before, we talk about timber. If we cut down trees, we need to harvest them at a rate which they can regrow. Okay, so write that down. Harvest, that's a renewable resource, right? Plants, trees grow back, but we need to slow it down. Harvest timber to allow regrowth. Okay, if you cut too much down, you can break the forest down and it's not going to be as productive. Remember, forests generate their own rainfall. And think agriculture, using, letting agricultural land sit for a while to let it reestablish some of its fertility is good to do. We just need to slow it down a little bit. I want to introduce this idea of natural capital. Nature has these systems already right here waiting for us, that protect us, that help us, that we have evolved to use. One thing is, this is a huge wetland. Aids in our survival. This wetland right here cleans the water. And wetlands in particular, humans have always loved to get rid of wetland. We see a wetland, we want to fill it in. It's terrible. But we need to let them be because they clean our water. Wetlands clean water. We make it dirty, the wetlands clean it up. They also protect us from hurricanes. This right here, I believe, is from Louisiana. And a lot of these wetlands along the southern coast of Gulf of Mexico have been removed, filled in, and that made Hurricane Katrina much more powerful when it came through back in 2005. And it's the same thing everywhere in this country. We've reduced these natural wetlands that are there, kind of protecting our coast at all times. But when those storms come in, they really help to absorb some of the energy and the impact. So let's look at some data here and see what we think. This right here, groundwater storage variations in the Central Valley from 04 to 22. And you have the data, it's the green line, as you're going over those, close to 20 years. And as you can see, the overall trend line is down. We have these recharge events, which are years where we have a lot of rainfall. So I'll just put like rainy years. So these years were rainy. But you see, in between those rainy years, we just keep losing and losing and losing groundwater. And as you can see, the overall line is going down. So basically, we are using more than we are replacing, or that is being replaced. And we can't. That's not sustainable. This is going to run out eventually. We gotta slow down. And think about the last video, the one before. Look at our water-intensive crops. We really got to think, what should we grow? What can we grow? What's economically viable? What's viable for sustainability? Nothing exists in a vacuum. The economy doesn't exist by itself. Our discussions on the environment don't exist without the economic and social aspects. We need to get people's habits changed. We need to get them accepting things that'll help the earth, help us live on the earth more successfully. So we are using more water than is being replaced. So this is not sustainable. Try to go nice and slow. Not sustainable. Look at this. Slowly going down. Now, I will say we only have this 20-year data set. It would be better. It's pretty current. It's up to just 2-3 years ago. But it would be good to have back to 1990, 1980 and see what this trend is. I would guess it'd be the same. Now, this is an idea that we've talked about many times. Look at this graph, this scatter graph of GDP per person. These are, the wealthier the country, you go to the right, and the amount of carbon dioxide emitted per person. As you can see, it's pretty clear. Countries that are wealthier emit more CO2. So, wealthier countries emit more CO2. So it's up to wealthier countries to do something, and that's what's really frustrating in this country. We have a lot of capability and potential to make a difference, yet our political leaders have really failed us. They were close in 1990 to doing the right thing, but politics got in the way, and it's been a real struggle ever since. But the takeaway from this graph: buy less stuff. Try whatever you can do. You will have a positive impact on the environment if you buy less stuff.